What is going on, everyone? I'm Paul Sabo. This is Punk with a Controller. You can catch us live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at twitch.tv/punkwithacontroller. Fridays, as you may know by now, we are joined by Jay Hamilton, aka twitch.tv/LordXHam, where we've been covering gaming news, just catching up on our weekly shib, what we've been playing, what we've been watching. It's been a real fun time. If you don't have time to catch us live, we do upload it to the Punk with a Controller YouTube channel, youtube.com/punkwithacontroller. And the first two episodes are up right now. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I just chain smoked a cigarette. The first two episodes are up right now, so you could go over there. Please watch them, like them. Let us know in the comments if you have any issues, if you want to see any changes. But other than that, Jay, how's it going, buddy?
Oh, it's been going all right. Been really busy with IRL life. How was your week?
Yeah, no, my week was pretty damn busy too. Dry cleaning, so sun's out, so people are getting their winter shit in. So it's been a real busy week. But other than work, how's it been? Doing anything else?
Building Legos.
Building Legos?
Building Legos and watching Hell's Kitchen, and that's about it.
Nice.
This week.
Yeah. So is that what you've been watching? Is Hell's Kitchen?
Well, I mean, I watch it weekly.
Oh, is it like live or is that shit still airing?
They came back with so they took like last year off or like the past 2 years off, something like that, and it's season 19. And it's
Jesus Christ.
They must have like recorded it in like 2018, 2019. And then, COVID happened, and then they waited, and then this year they were like, I guess they're ready for it again.
Yeah.
It's good. It's still just as good as every other season. Yeah.
Is he still just as pissed off at everyone?
Yeah, but I mean, like...
Has he toned it down at all? Can you feel it toned down from the earlier seasons?
Like,
no?
Yes. No. But in a good way. Like, he doesn't do that for, like, the content. You know what I mean? He
I could see him doing it for a little bit for the content.
I don't know, because if you watch Junior Master...
smidge.
All right, watch MasterChef, then watch Junior MasterChef. Completely different. You can turn it on and off. But yeah. That's about it.
Do you play anything at all this week? You said before we did our little test thing a couple hours ago, you said you were doing a quest, or you wanted to finish a quest.
Oh, so I haven't even gotten to like sit down at my PC. I mainly just like, I go on YouTube and put up like a background like fantasy tavern scene and like did fool around. Like I got my Lego set up now in the back. But no, I was playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla still.
Oh, okay.
And
so, how far into that are you? Because you were playing that last week too.
Well, I'm well over I'm at like 35 hours, almost 40 hours, somewhere like that, and like I'm still doing shit. I'm still unlocking stuff.
You gotta be climbing at least close to the end.
Well, like no, it's like you need to go. Like I don't want to like say too much and like get like hung up on the topic, but
yeah, keep it spoiler free.
You have like a skill level in this, but it's like really dumbed down. It's not like Odyssey or Origins where you have too many weapons or, I gotta drop this or gear. No, it's like a base set of gear you get every time you play through the game, right? A base set that you upgrade, and every time you upgrade it, it changes the look of it too. Is that when you upgraded it, it gets better looking, and it's like a really easy, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Focused system. But you have a skill level, and it'll tell you before you get into an area, like, level 220 skill level is recommended. I'm like, dude, I'm level 87. I've been playing for like 35 hours.
Yeah, no. If I remember correctly, in Skill Up's review, that was like his big complaint is like, like it was a pretty easy climb, and then there was a section of an area where it was like 50 hours of grinding to like be able to go and explore that area.
I don't even mind though, because I keep finding cool shit. So
that's cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like I said, I've had a busy week at work too, so I didn't really get to play too much, and I've also been trying to get outside more, so I went hiking like Tuesday, and then I went skating for the first time.
I went skating this week.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
forgot.
nice.
Yep. So anyway, go on. Sorry.
How'd that go on your end?
So I ended my last day out last year by folding my wrists, basically, like dropping in on a quarter, being dumb, like just I don't know. I was just like, oh, I've done it a million times, just whoop.
I know that game. You think it's
And,
like riding a bike, and it's not.
No, skateboarding is not like riding a bike. You don't do it. No, but like, so I went back up, and my wrists were feeling fine. You know, I have some ankle or a wrist guards that have like
yeah.
a that metal
Yeah,
thing
for
on
sure.
it. And so I was doing that, but man, like I don't know if it was from going back to work, or just getting old, but like just like my front foot, my knee just doesn't want to go up. Like I'm like trying to ollie like I used to, and it just doesn't want to
Do
move
you
as fast.
do you stretch before you skate?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was about to say you gotta definitely stretch. I found that one out the hard way too.
but
But yeah, no, mine
yeah,
was a similar boat. Had a pretty bad fall. Similar. That was my last day of skating. That was June. I don't want to get into the details of that because there are a lot of details in that. But yeah, no. So I'm skating again. I'm taking it slow and sober. So that's been fun. I wanted to play more. Like I wanted to play Oddworld Soulstorm because that came out this week. I wanted to at least play the opening of that before we started streaming today, but I got off work a lot later than I thought I would. And I have to stream. We're streaming early if you haven't noticed because my D&D game got rescheduled to tonight. So that'll be fun. But yeah, no, I played Ratchet and Clank streaming, and outside of that, I had some shows to catch up on. I started watching WandaVision again. Like I'm fighting through it. I just have to get through it. And yeah, that shit fucking picks up. Like I was painting a miniature for the D&D board. Back like you have your little Lego set behind you. Mine's like kind of tucked around the corner. And I heard like I was kind of just like side glancing at it, like not really paying attention. And yeah, there was one episode where like I rewound to the beginning and like totally lost focus on the miniature, and I was like, God, this is fucking good. Falcon and Winter Soldier, goddamn, that show is like so far my like favorite Marvel thing. That's like MCU, excluding Daredevil and shit. That's really good. But no, yeah, I haven't gotten to play or watch really much of anything.
yeah.
Well, I watched a decent bit.
I saw like right before we went live, Sony and Marvel, or Sony had that little shindig going on.
Yeah, I didn't put that in the news doc because we've got, as you'll see, a lot of Sony news. And that one I also didn't really care too much about. Basically, the sum of it is that Sony partnered with Netflix, so all of that Sony shit you've been hearing about with the Uncharted movie and the Twisted Metal TV show and the Metal Gear Solid movie, when all that is done and in theaters and out of theaters, it'll be streaming first on Netflix. I saw people talking about Spider-Man 2. I didn't look too much into that. Like people were saying like Netflix got the exclusive rights to Spider-Man. So like I think that's so weird. Like
I don't know. It's a bunch of makes my head hurt.
Yeah, and fucking Into the Spider-Verse literally left in December or January, so it's gonna be coming back in 2022. Like it's all right, sure. But if that's all we've got to say about our weeks, let's get into the news. And before we get into the news, like I said, we got a lot of Sony news, and as pissed off and as heated as I am right now, and trust me when I say I'm very frustrated with Sony, I still love these news days. Good or bad, it's just a lot of news for both sides. And I got a lot of notes here. Up until I want to say yesterday, it was a pretty slow news week. There wasn't really much. We only had like 4 or 5 stories in the doc. And then this morning, Jason Schreier dropped this bomb that I just had to put at the top of the story, or at the top of the document. This is a tweet that he put out relating to his article that he also put out this morning. In 2018, a small team of PlayStation developers tried to build their own studio to remake The Last of Us. Why? Today, the game still exists, but the studio does not. As we enter the PS5 era, Sony is avoiding risk in prioritizing its biggest teams. And then here's a link to his story. I'm going to try and pull it up, and it's Jason Schreier, so it's going to be a long article. I say try to pull it up because it's Bloomberg, and they're capitalistic scum. So it's behind a paywall. You can only open it a few times. And I opened it once, and it was just like, you're about to reach your limit for opening our articles. So that's why I put this tweet as the link, so I didn't accidentally open up the article again. If this doesn't work, I have backup from IGN that kind of breaks it down. Let me see if I can open this up. Come on, stay open. Stay open.
Oh.
No thanks. Okay. Okay. We might have to deal with ads or some bullshit, but no, it doesn't even look like we got to deal with ads. Yeah, your monthly limit is free of content, about to expire. Okay, cool. So yeah, we could read this whole article, and I do want to read this whole article. I know it's a long one, but it's very, very important to me. I want to think if there's even anything I want to get into about this article before I start, but I don't even know where to start other than the top. So let me grab my whiskey.
Some water.
A beer. And a what the fuck is Sony's obsession with blockbusters is stirring unrest with PlayStation Empire. This is by Jason Schreier over at Bloomberg. Sony Corp's Visual Art Services Group has long been the unsung hero of many hit PlayStation video games. The San Diego-based operation helps finish off games designed at other Sony-owned studios with animation, art, or other content and development. But about 3 years ago, a handful of influential figures within the Visual Art Service Group decided they wanted to have more creative control in lead game direction rather than being supported actors on popular titles such as Spider-Man and Uncharted. Michael Mumbar, he's basically the star of this whole article. Michael Mumbar, who took over direction of Visual Art Service Group in 2007, recruited a group of about 30 developers internally and from neighboring game studios to form a new development unit within Sony. The idea was to expand upon some of the company's most successful franchises, and the team began working on a remake of the 2013 hit The Last of Us for PlayStation 5. I don't fucking know why they're remaking The Last of Us. I will get into that once we get through this bullshit. But Sony never fully acknowledged the team's existence or gave them the funding and support needed to succeed in the highly competitive video game market, according to people involved. The studio never even got its own name. Instead, Sony moved ownership of The Last of Us remake to its original creator, Naughty Dog, a Sony-owned studio behind many of the company's best-selling games and an HBO television series in development. Deflated, the small group's leadership has largely disbanded according to interviews with 8 people familiar with the operation. Many, including Mumbar, have left the company entirely. Mumbar declined to comment, and others asked to not be named, discussing private information. A representative for Sony declined to comment or provide interviews. I just also want to put this at the top. This is one of the things that I'm so heated about I couldn't even think of saying. Shout outs to Jason Schreier for doing this massive, massive deep dive. He's really one of the only people who is doing big journalistic articles like this in the games industry. So I really do appreciate him for doing this, and also these 8 people for speaking up about what's been going on. I'm assuming over the last few years, I think they said. The team's failures highlights the complex hierarchy of video game development, and in a particular, Sony's conservative approach to making games for the PlayStation 5. The Japanese conglomerate owns about a dozen studios across the world as part of its PlayStation Studios label, but in recent years it has prioritized games made by its most successful developers. Studios such as Santa Monica, California-based Naughty Dog, and Amsterdam-based Guerrilla Games spent tens of millions of dollars to make games with the expectation that the investments will pay off exponentially. And they usually do. Hits including 2018's God of War and 2020's Last of Us Part 2 are exclusive to PlayStation consoles, helping Sony sell some 114 million of the PlayStation 4. Rival Microsoft Corp has taken the opposite approach, relying on a wide array of studios to feed its Netflix-like subscription service, Xbox Game Pass, which allows users to pay a monthly fee for unlimited access to a variety of games. Sony's focus on exclusive blockbusters has come at the expense of a niche teams and studios within the PlayStation organization, leading to high turnover and less choice for players. Last week, Sony reorganized a development office in Japan, resulting in mass departures of people who worked on less-known but acclaimed games such as Gravity Rush and Everybody's Golf. The company has informed developers that it no longer wants to produce smaller games that are only successful in Japan, Bloomberg has reported. We reported on that 2 weeks ago. I think that was actually was that last week or was that our first episode? I can't remember.
I think it was the first one.
But that's fucked up. I'm sorry.
Julian?
I'm going to say this is, I want you to take count of how many times I say it throughout this stream. Count number 1, I miss Sean Layden. I really miss Sean Layden, and I really miss Shuhei Yoshida. Knock that. Not knock that, like, just put a knock in that, like, that's 1. This fixation on teams that churn out hits is creating unrest across Sony's portfolio of game studios. Oregon-based Sony Bend, best known for the 2019 open-world action game Days Gone, I would say best known recently, tried unsuccessfully to pitch a sequel that year, according to people familiar with the proposal. Although the first game had been profitable, its development had been lengthy and critical reception was mixed, so a Days Gone 2 was seen as a viable option. Instead, one team at the studio was assigned to help Naughty Dog with a multiplayer game, while a second group was assigned to work on a new Uncharted game with the supervision from Naughty Dog. Some staff, including top leads, were unhappy with this arrangement and left. Ben's developers feared they might leave but be absorbed into Naughty Dog, and the studio's leadership asked to be taken off Uncharted project. They got their wish last month and now working on the new game of their own that will be part of a brand new franchise. That's really cool, but that came at the cost of John Garvin, who is the writer of Siphon Filter, and he wrote Days Gone most recently, and he's been with Sony for like 25 fucking years, and I'm assuming that this is why he left. I miss John Garvin. Put that one on the fucking list. Sorry. Emphasizing big hits can also be counterproductive because sometimes games that start small can turn into massive successes. In 2020, Sony didn't put much marketing muscle behind the quirky video game creation system Dreams, but the PlayStation-owned Media Molecule in the UK, as a result, PlayStation may have missed out on its own version of Roblox, which is a fucking true statement. A similar video game tool. Parent company Roblox Corp went public earlier this year and is now valued at $45 billion. Jesus Christ. Yeah, for Dreams, I said that they should have made that a PlayStation Plus game from the start, but here we are. They have like fucking 1,500 active players. For the first solo project, Mumbar and his crew wanted to pitch something that would be well received by their bosses at Sony, recognizing the risks and expenses involved with developing a new game from scratch. They decided on focusing on remaking older games for the new PS5. Why? Remakes are considered a safe bet. That's why. Since it's cheaper to update and polish an old game than it is to start from scratch, and they could be sold both to nostalgic old fans and curious new ones. The team originally planned on a remake for the Uncharted game released by Naughty Dog in 2007. That idea quickly fizzled out because it would be expensive and require too much added design work. Instead, the team settled for Naughty Dog's 2013 melancholic zombie hit, The Last of Us. At the time, Naughty Dog was in the thick of development on the sequel for Last of Us Part 2, which would introduce higher fidelity graphics and new gameplay features. If Mumbar's crew remade the first game to have a similar look and feel, the two games could be packaged together on the PlayStation 5. I'm going to stop after this paragraph and get to basically everything I just said. Since The Last of Us was a more modern and wouldn't require too much more many gameplay overhauls, then maybe don't fucking make it! Maybe don't remake the game if it doesn't require many overhauls. You want to know why it doesn't require gameplay overhauls? Because it's fucking 6 years old. Then once Mumbar's group had established itself, it could go on to remake the first Uncharted game and other titles down the road. All right, I'm going to stop right there. So I'm going to start with them talking about Steak Knives, remake Call of Duty Warzone. I hate you. Don't do this to me right now. You're trolling, and this is not the time to troll me. Hold on. Jay's little screen is a little out of frame. No, not the frame. The fucking... Ah! There we go. Okay. So I'm going to start with them talking about packaging the games together. They have been planning this for a while. This was planned before The Last of Us Part 2 even came out, and that really fucking annoys me. That they already had this plan established that they were going to remake both these games, package them together, and then resell one of them to you for potentially the third time, and the other one to you for the second time, and probably some massive priced package. I'm going to guess 120, I would say. Because that's 70 for one and then 50 for the other. So that is really fucking pissing me off. And then the fact that they're not investing the money in Uncharted, which I feel like that could actually use a remake, because with Bluepoint did port the first three Uncharteds to the PS4. But they really just made them HD, removed a couple mechanics that made the games almost unplayable, and just brought it over to the next-gen console. If they wanted to remake those from like the ground up on like a new engine, because as we talked about last week, they're shutting down the stores, so those games on PS3 are going to be lost forever, potentially. Like that could make sense, but no, it's too, like, what are you trying to find exactly? Are you like, one's too much work, one's clearly like you don't need to work on it, but it's, to them just enough work. I don't fucking get it. And then also, why do we need a remake studio? We got Bluepoint. Well, we don't have Bluepoint, like PlayStation doesn't own Bluepoint, but we got Bluepoint. Like, just have them make whatever fucking games you want. I feel like this is also squashing a lot of rumors. There's another story where I feel like that might potentially squash a bunch of rumors, but Demon Souls, there was literally Metal Gear Solid Easter eggs in that game. So like people were really convinced that they were going to be remaking the first Metal Gear Solid game, which I would fucking kill for. Oh my god. But according to this, with Sony trying to develop their own remake studio, they're not going to be looking to buy a new studio. Ubisoft should remake Conker's Bad Fur Day. Yeah, sure. You're killing me. The graphics are too relevant. Honestly, like, I don't know if that's a troll comment or like a serious comment. I'll take it as a serious comment and say, with those older games, it's the mechanics, really. The Last of Us, I'll give it, they do play, like, the first Last of Us does play like a PlayStation 3 game because it is a PlayStation 3 game. But it's still, it's fine. Like, saying it plays like a PlayStation 3 game isn't like saying it plays like a PS1 game or a PS2 game where you're holding R2 to aim and then pressing fucking left on the D-pad to fire. The mechanics are there. It's playable. It still looks great. I played the game.
I played through it last year.
Yeah, I played through it last year before, like the month before 2 came out. And yeah, so I honestly don't get any of this. Honestly, what it is it's money, and Jay, you take over. What do you got to say? Let me hear it.
I don't know what I have to say. All I know is that it sounds like a waste of time. Waste of time and resources when you could be making better shit.
Thank you.
Because
Go on. Sorry. Now the thoughts are coming, and I'm like, this is it. Jib jab, jib jab, jib jab. Go for it. Hit me with it.
No, they're wasting time because, like, I feel like a game, like you said, like a game like that doesn't need remade. Like, it is sluggish, but it's not like a PS2 game or anything like that. And like you were saying about Uncharted, like I would rather see time spent remaking those games because we're getting to the point where they're almost 10 years old. We're gonna be
those
games
games are over 10 years old. The first Uncharted came out in 2007.
2007. Duh. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I remember playing that game when it came out.
Shit, but Uncharted 3 turns 10 years old this year.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be honest. They should just make another Sly Cooper game and stop wasting their time remaking stuff unless it's worth it. But I want
to go back to the thing you said about stop remaking and the poor use of resources, because both those things.
Think about how many of just alone Sony alone, how many of their little just universes they created that people are just waiting. Like, would you rather be like, you think everyone would be excited to see, oh yeah, we're Last of Us remastered, and everyone would be like, Jesus Christ, what are you, Skyrim? But then
I was gonna compare him to Rockstar, where for the last
GTA Online.
For the last decade, the only games they've put out, or even longer than that, the only games they've put out have been GTA games and Red Dead games. Essentially, they put out Max Payne 3.
Yep.
I love Max Payne 3, but that is a 12-hour maybe game in between.
That's your
over 10
game.
years. That's 13 years.
Yeah, I replayed that too on the PC not too long ago. Still holds up. Then the same thing if, like with The Last of Us remaking that, you could be like, oh, let's remake Max Payne 3. It's about the same age.
Well, I want to compare him to Rockstar in the sense of it's like an entire fucking publisher who owns studios is doing what a game developer does. Like you said, like the remakes, honestly, all of the remakes is starting to scare me in the sense of, do they think this is all they have? Or are they afraid of
all right.
Are they afraid of, or I'm going to stop saying they, I'm going to say Jim Ryan. Is Jim Ryan afraid of risking anything?
All right, here's what this has been like.
Because I have been, sorry, just to cut you off just real quick, for the last 6 fucking years, every E3, I have predicted SOCOM. Like, I'm pretty sure we've had this conversation. Like, do your fucking awesome, single player narrative that and Sony does. Make it incredibly high quality, super fucking beautiful and realistic like you do as Sony, and then incorporate an insane multiplayer mode that'll fucking blow Rainbow Six Siege out of the water, and then you're in esports, and then this game is lasting for fucking, like Rainbow Six at this point, generations.
There's still SOCOM 2 servers.
Yeah.
Active to this day.
So, I don't want to hear, this is all we got. We got.
With SOCOM, it would be you don't even have to think outside the box. It would be as easy as going, SOCOM U.S. Navy SEALs. That's all it needs to be called. It doesn't need to be SOCOM 3 Fire Team Bravo 69. Like,
And
no, like, you know,
they got
like
the teams for it too. They have Guerrilla Studios. They did Killzone. They have, first-person shooters
Yeah, but
at developers.
But SOCOM was never third person, and Zipper Interactive.
Well,
was
they
like-
understand. I mean, when I say they understand first-person shooting, so they can make that game.
Yeah, but like my thing is like you even brought up SOCOM, but like they have so many good.
Well, that was just one
Shit.
example. Like
They have, like, all right, I wouldn't like what I was.
I mean,
like,
Sly
getting at,
Cooper.
like,
Sly Cooper
Sly
would be
Cooper,
awesome.
Jack and Daxter.
Get
Look
look at Ratchet and Clank. Like, give Sly Cooper that makeover.
Or, dude, I would love to play through. Like, if they want to remake a game, remake Jack and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy. I will play through that game again on PS5. Like, all those games were sick, but they just like they got a lot to pull from. Weren't they supposed to be? They remade Medieval,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know why.
Right, and when they should have just made a brand new one.
I don't know who was asking for that.
See, Johnny said he would
Yeah, I
buy
see that.
PS5 to play Jack 2 and Jack 3. Like, I would too. And it's just in my head, I think about this all the time. I remember being a little kid, turning on G4 TV to watch E3 because we didn't have YouTube.
Yeah.
Or I had to wait for Game Informer to come.
Yeah,
And
for
like
sure.
I remember watching, and it's just like there's all these studios filled with just like I just remember like 2003, 2004, like Destroy All Humans, PsyOps, the Mindgate Conspiracy, and then you had games like Respawn Entertainment or Pandemic
Oh my
making
God.
The Saboteur and like all those games and just like thinking outside of the box. Like I remember when like shit was new, like now it's just like, oh, we're making a Demon Souls game and then you know what it is. Like all these games, it's like here's our new game, but you know what it is.
I'm fine with remakes. It just has to be a justified remake. Like Demon Souls was a justified remake,
Yeah.
and I beat Demon Souls. I bought Demon Souls. That was the first game that and Miles Morales are what I played on my PS5, and I fucking loved them. And we're talking about like great E3s. When I think of a great E3, I see Ruski in the chat right now. Ruski.
Yeah,
Just 1 second, Ruski. I'm looking at you right now, eye to eye. When I say great E3, what do you think of? On the count of three, say it. 1, 2, 3. Sony 2016. That E3 they literally laid out their entire catalog of games except for 2, up until the PS5. That conference had every single game they had except for The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. It opened up with Uncharted 4, Horizon Zero Dawn, Dreams, and then that's where they revealed Crash Insane Trilogy. That's where they revealed Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's where they revealed Death Stranding. That's where they revealed Days Gone, Spider-Man. I mean, Ron, you remember me freaking out for literally every one of these. Detroit Become Human, God of War. That's fucking 10 games. They had a live orchestra playing the music to all of the gameplay that they were playing. And that's all it was. Like, the showcase opened up with a trailer, and Sean Layden walked out to personally reveal the Crash Insane Trilogy. And as he was walking out, there was a silhouette shadow of Crash as he was walking on stage. It was the coolest fucking thing in the world. And nothing, no conference since that E3 2016 has ever been as good. And that's because Sean Layden was kicked out. I can only suppose, because I go on Twitter and look at all the tweets he's been liking. Every single tweet he has liked within the last fucking 12 hours has been, Sean, I miss you. Where's Sean Layden? We need Sean Layden back. Same thing for Shuhei Yoshida. Because I tweeted out, Sony's lost their personality. And when I say that, I mean they lost their Sean Layden, they lost their Gio Corsi, they lost their Shuhei Yoshida, they lost their Jack Trenton, and they still have a few of those people, but they're not at the ranks where they are. In 2018, I think it was, Shuhei Yoshida, a lot of people were treating it in the games industry like it was like this like promotion or something where he got, in my words, bumped down from lead like first party developer to indie developer. So he went from being the guy who would go, who like, okay, you're Sony Santa Monica, you're working on a new IP, you've been working on a new IP for 3 years, you finally have something to show. Shuhei Yoshida was the guy you would show it to. Now it's Herman Hulst, and he comes up a lot in this article. But now it's Herman Hulst, and then they bumped Shuhei down to indie. And that is like, Shuhei Yoshida was the producer of Legend of Dragoon. Like, he has been with Sony since fucking 97? 95, actually? He's been with them since the beginning, since PlayStation's beginning. And to just completely kick him out of the limelight, this just reeks of the PS3 era, and it's really got me worried, personally. In the sense of Sony is, I said it in the last stream, the last episode when we were talking about the stores shutting down. This is not the same Sony as it was 7 years ago. It is now completely corporate Sony. Now, one thing I am going to just plop in right here, and Jay, if you have anything else you got to say, you could say it, and then I want to continue with the article and get through it. I think PlayStation deserves our patience, in the sense of, this article came out, I woke up at 7 a.m. and this article was up. So it probably came out at fucking 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to give Sony the time. I really hope that whatever their next state of play was, whatever their next like conference or showcase was, whatever that was planned, I hope they are scrapping that, crumpling that up into a ball and throwing it in the fucking garbage, and they're planning on something massive. Like fucking massive.
Like GTA 6 massive? GTA 6 Online.
I mentioned this to my brother a couple weeks ago, and we didn't even want to talk about it. I kind of just left it there. You may remember a little game known as Agent.
Oh.
That was supposed to be exclusive for the PlayStation 2. Or actually, it was a PlayStation 3. And that game never came out. And I'm curious if there's any contractual obligation Rockstar has to Sony in any way. I don't know what that means. I'm just putting it out there. That game was announced and not made, but it was at E3. They were talking about it. They still jokingly talk about it from time to time. I feel like there could be something there. But Jay, do you have anything more you got to say before I finish up this article? Or as long as I could fucking go? Oh, no, we're basically at the end.
No. Jack.
Oh, wait, no, fuck, no!
Well, we overstayed our welcome.
Well, on that note, we shall jump to the rundown of the article by Joe Screbbles over at IGN. This, like I said, just breaks down everything from the report. As you can see, it is significantly shorter, so I will just run through this really quick. Jay, do me a favor. Give me some Day Bow Bow. I'm going to grab some beer. Day Bow Bow. I'm starting you off.
Day Bow Bow.
Come on.
I don't even know what the hell that means, but what up, everyone? What do you guys want to talk about? I'm not even gonna lie, I hated The Last of Us.
That's commitment. Okay. Back to it. Joe Screbbles, IGN. The Last of Us remake reportedly in development and Days Gone 2 pitch rejected. Sony Studios are reportedly working on a remake of The Last of Us 2, while Sony Bend begins work on a new game after an unsuccessful 2019 pitch to make Days Gone 2. In a new Bloomberg report into dissatisfaction among Sony's lesser-known studios, sources say that a Last of Us remake codenamed T1X was started by Michael Mumbar, the founder of Visual Arts Service Group, a Sony developer that traditionally assists development on PlayStation Studio games. We talked about that a bit earlier. Why the hell would they remake The Last of Us? Yeah, that's what we've been talking about for the last 20 minutes or so. Mumbar apparently assembled a new 30-strong development group, and after passing on the idea of a remake of the first Uncharted game, settled on a remake of 2013's The Last of Us. However, the team reportedly ran into trouble after Sony kept their existence a secret and refused to offer extra budget. Head of Sony Studios Herman Hulst apparently deemed the project too expensive, and Mumbar's team was moved to support the development of The Last of Us 2. Bloomberg sources say after The Last of Us 2 was completed, Sony moved multiple Naughty Dog developers onto the T1X project, and the remake effectively became a Naughty Dog project. Mumbar and other original developers have now left the company, but development on the remake is apparently continuing. As part of the same report, Bloomberg also says that Sony Bend pitched a sequel for Days Gone after the game's release in 2019, but was rejected. That really fucking pisses me off, and I want to get into that at the end of this. Sony then apparently moved Bend developers onto two Naughty Dog projects, a multiplayer game, in parentheses, presumably a standalone Last of Us multiplayer game, and a new Uncharted project, in parentheses, which has also been rumored recently. Since Bend staff reportedly left as a result of having their anatomy taken away, the leadership allegedly complained to Sony and asked to be moved off the Uncharted development. Sony Bend is now apparently working on a new original game, and it's not clear if this is Days Gone 2, a brand new game, or a return to another back catalog game. And then here's an update from Eurogamer, apparently. Reports that its sources claim a Sony Bend-developed Uncharted game was planned to be a new chapter for the series, possibly a prequel, and was intended as something of a reboot for the series. It's unclear if those plans have persisted with Bend off the project. There has been many rumors about the new Sony team in San Diego, led by Mumbar, with many assuming that it was working on a new Uncharted game after it said it was developing in an existing franchise. However, it seems that it referred to The Last of Us, which I can't tell you how fucking funny that is. The Uncharted's future seemingly remaining under Naughty Dog's control. The timing of a remake of The Last of Us feels appropriate. Are you fucking kidding me? Given the upcoming HBO series, which will reimagine the story for the first game with Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey in the lead roles. So yeah, before we started doing this series, there was rumors about an Uncharted game being made by a new Sony San Diego studio. And the fact that it turned out to be a Last of Us is just like, God, if I could go and slap P in the face from 2 months ago, I would. But yeah, no, Sony Bend not being able to make Days Gone 2 is really fucking shitty. Days Gone 2 is a mediocre game. It is okay. It, like, the things that are good about it are like very, very minute things. The voice acting is good. It looks good visually. That at the time of me playing,
about it.
At the time of me playing it, I played it at launch. It played like fucking garbage. That game needed 3 more months in the well, at least, before it launched. The game did come out on PS5 with the 4K 60 FPS mode. And it's had an insane amount of updates prior to that. So I'm sure it runs a lot better than it did. But I like I said, I didn't like the game really that much to begin with. But it ended. I'm not going to spoil the ending. It ended in a really fucking interesting way, and I could have totally seen it having a Assassin's Creed style change up where, the first Assassin's Creed, not good, not a good game. but they learned from the good and the bad of that game, and then they put it in 2, and 2 is top 3 best Assassin's Creed to date. So I could have totally seen Days Gone doing a similar thing. We learned from the good, we learned from the bad. Let's, take the good, take out the bad, add to the good because we've learned from, Twitter and learning from comments and everything, and go from there. And no, they fucking got it canceled because they weren't pitching to a Shuhei Yoshida. They were pitching to a fucking Herman Hulst. And it's hard for me to hate on Herman Hulst because I do like Herman Hulst. But I almost want to say that this is all Jim Ryan. And that is my number one note at my handwritten notes. Is this Jim Ryan's fault? And the classic expression is the buck stops at the top and the buck stops with Jim Ryan. So I do wholeheartedly see this as all of his command. And I think he's doing some weird bullshit. And I do not like it. The Bloomberg article, I probably shouldn't have read the whole thing earlier. That's probably why I got cut out the second time. But they do talk a lot about Herman and about how he was the one who was making a lot of these calls. But they hardly ever mention Jim Ryan. And it's just, he's the fucking CEO. Like, it's gotta, these commands gotta be coming from somewhere. Anyways, you got anything to say? I'm going through my notes here, seeing if there's anything else I want to add onto this subject before we move on, because we've been on this for a minute now.
Yeah, I have nothing else to say.
Yeah, and I just want to go back to, is Sony out of ideas? They have so many IP, and it just fucking blows my mind that they won't do this. The last packaging them together is insulting because that literally screams you're doing this only for profit. I mean, they're, a corporation, they're a game company. Of course, that's the reason, but, they're literally doing it because they're like, oh yeah, those dumb fucking gamers will buy this shit again. That's what I'm reading of this as. Oh yeah, I got one thing boxed out here that I got to end with. Why won't they listen to us? Xbox has been so great with listening to their community and the way the community responds to their reception. It's just a back and forth of greatness. And I don't know why Sony seems to have lost that. Like, I don't know if you remember, but I want to say back in January or something, maybe February, or I don't know, this entire year has just been one big fucking time loop. So, Xbox raised the price of gold. I can't remember if it was substantially or if it was just a little bit, or I can't remember exactly how much it was, but they raised the price of Xbox Gold. And like, they literally just put out a simple tweet, saying, hey, we're like just a little picture of like a little paragraph of what they said, just a run up of them, raising the price of gold. And there was a fucking outcry. Like, people were like, why? We're all paying for Ultimate. Like, why even do that to people who are only paying for gold? And by the end of the day, Xbox was literally like, all right, cool, we're not doing it. We've heard your response, and that's done for. And like, Sony used to be that way, but they're not anymore, and it fucking sucks.
No,
they were trying to double it. Yeah, no, for sure. Steak Knives in the chat says they were trying to double it. But on Xbox's note, with the MLB news that came out last week of that coming to Games Pass at launch, which, by the way, if MLB is, they are the producer, apparently, of the game for Xbox, talk about a fuck, like, I was thinking about this, like, after we recorded, talk about a fuck you to Sony. Like, literally a middle finger to Sony. Hey, we're going to take the game that you've been perfectingly developing for us for the last 20 years, and we're going to give it to your lead competitor for free to put out on their console for free. It's like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? That's insane. And I could totally see Sony just straight up being like, yeah, we're not, like, as you said, why waste resources? I could totally see Sony being like, yeah, we're just not going to make the game anymore now. Give it to some other fucking developer to make a half-ass version. And MLB will totally do that. And they'll totally start monetizing the shit out of it because they've been looking at what FIFA and NBA and Madden have been doing with monetization and everything. And they'll just copy them because they still make money. They still sell their games, no matter how fucking broken and shitty they are. So all of that, I'm going to end on this note. With this article dropping this morning, I see Phil Spencer sitting next to a fucking giant fire pit, like a fire, sipping on a nice scotch and like a smoking jacket and a cigar, and he is just a shark, and he's just smelling the blood in the water. Xbox smells the blood in the water, and they are just living in it. They love seeing all of this because they just went an entire generation in Sony's shadow. And now Sony's in Microsoft's shadow. And it
seems like it flip-flops every year. Like every generation.
That's what a lot of people say, but when you pay attention, there's a lot more into it. At the end, the PS3 outsold the Xbox. A lot of people don't know that. The PS3 outsold the 360.
I think it was just for the Blu-ray.
Well, that's why a lot of the games that came to the PS3 came to PS3. Hideo Kojima said that he wanted Metal Gear Solid 4 on the Xbox 360, but because it didn't have a Blu-ray drive, the game would have been on like 6 discs. That's why when GTA 3 or GTA 5 came out on the Xbox 360, it was on 3 discs, and on the PS3 it was just on 1. Yeah, so it's wild. I get what you mean by like back and forth, but like I also feel like not really. I mean, PlayStation had an entire generation lead in PlayStation, and then Xbox came out. PlayStation 2 beat Xbox because of the DVD player, and then 360 had the lead for the majority of the year, but in the end was outsold by PS3. PS4 sold fucking, I think, 3-1 on Xbox One and Xbox One X. And, we're starting this next generation. So in the long term, PlayStation has dominated Xbox each run. And I get games is games are subjective. Like, there is no doubt that the PlayStation has had better exclusives and more exclusives and just higher quality exclusives. There's no arguing that. Like, you could argue that you like Halo more than Metal Gear Solid, but there's no arguing that Metal Gear Solid is a higher quality game.
Yep.
Or Gears of War or whatever. But we have been on this for now an hour, which is we've been streaming for an hour, so we've probably been on this one for like fucking 45 minutes. Let's get on to
we're going to be burning through now.
Story number 2 is a bit shorter. This one's more nostalgic. Story number 3, though, I do got some shit to say. Steak Knives is in the chat. I just want to catch up here. It says it's got to get people to buy Ultimate and or Games Pass. Technically, MLB would get a slice of the pie for every play of the game, like how every artist gets a cut for the song stream, something like that. I can't really think.
Oh, he's drunk.
Well, how it works is Sony did get paid for this one way or another. MLB was basically like, hey, we're taking this license and we're giving it to Xbox, and Sony was just like, okay. Because this article also came out, Sony didn't know that it was going to go on Games Pass until it went on Games Pass. They thought that they were going to get the sales, which I feel like they totally would have been fine with, because how that would have worked is Microsoft and MLB, they would have split 30%, and then Sony would have gotten 70%. Because that's just how the split works. Like, if you go and buy a physical game at GameStop new, GameStop gets 30%, and whoever the publisher is, they get the other 70%, and then they split that between the developers, and so on and so forth. So Sony just got MLB probably just cut them a check for like $10 million for making the game. They're like, all right, thanks. When they really could have made more, because MLB is a system seller game. If there is any game for the PlayStation that was a system seller, it was MLB. There were people that would buy those consoles just for MLB. And now there are people who are like, I'm not even going to buy the game on PS4 or 5 because I could just play it for free on Games Pass. So all of that is just really fucking problematic. But story number 2, let's get through this shit. E3 is going digital this summer, will return in person next year. This is by Megan Farouk Manesh. I hope I nailed that. I really do. E3 2021 will take place June 12th through the 15th this year as a free, reimagined, all-virtual event. The Entertainment Software Association, ESA, announced today. Organizers announced that the lineup includes companies such as Nintendo, Xbox, Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft, Take-Two Interactive, and Warner Bros. Games. Sony is notably missing from that list so far. Not really notably. They announced that they weren't going to be doing E3s anymore in 2019, so I don't know why you would include that. E3 Gaming's biggest annual conference in North America typically takes place in downtown LA every June and attracts a mix of developers, press, and consumers. Last year's event was canceled in April due to COVID-19. In its absence, Jeff Keighley launched Summer Games Fest. Did not like it. In partnership with many developers to deliver game reveals and news. The digital event is also returning this June. E3 is expected to resume in person next summer. The ESA president and CEO Stanley Pierre-Louis said that the organization is evolving, end quote, evolving this year's E3 into a more inclusive event, end quote, that will include game reveals and news. The organization confirmed in February that it would hold an online-only event this year. Jay, I can assume by our conversation earlier, we're both fans of E3, right? We both love E3.
Oh, it's like a holiday.
It's my Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like it's what I look forward to. It's my
On
event.
TV,
Everything builds up. Like just the predictions, the ideas, what you want to see. You're fucking talking back and forth with your friends, like, that looked like shit, and like, did you see it? Did you see that? Like those moments are the best. They've been rare these last couple years, but you never know. You never know. And these other showcases, they don't have it. Tokyo Game Show doesn't have the did you see it? Gamescom doesn't have the did you see it? PAX East and PAX West didn't have the did you see it? It's E3. I mean, I would say the only other comparison is the Game Awards. I would say the Game Awards has big shows.
There's 2 names on there that really stick out to me.
Which ones are those?
Take-Two Interactive, because they basically have their hand up Rockstar's ass.
Well, they own Rockstar.
Right, they own Rockstar. And for me, I know you with Konami, but for me, Warner Brothers Games means I get to see more of that new Harry Potter game.
Yeah, no, 100%. I imagine Warner Bros. You're gonna see deep dive into Harry Potter. I imagine you'll get a deep dive into the Rocksteady game, the Superman Kills the Justice League, and I imagine you'll get a deeper dive into Gotham Knights. You might even I could see you getting some new announcements, but I'm not sure about that.
Like that whole Superman, Kills Justice League or whatever. I wish they would make a Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe game, because that's my favorite graphic novel of all time. Dude, Gotham City Imposters remake, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, they did
Free to play.
They did an entire run of so and so kills the Marvel Universe. I remember the Punisher did one. Wolverine did one. Yeah, I can't remember. A bunch of people did them though. Gotham City Imposters remake, I'd be down. Says Steak Knives. No, Gotham Knights. It's gonna be like Batman Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, but co-op, which I think is fucking dope. So yeah, for me, my standouts are Take-Two Interactive. I'm curious what they got to show there.
Be
And
like, we got a new mansion coming to GTA Online.
I'm really, really, really fucking curious about Konami. I'm putting it on the table right now. Do not expect anything. Like, do not expect anything of note. You might get bad ports. That is all they do. Bad ports.
But they released like we got a new controller coming out.
No, like they'll port like fucking Castlevania Symphony of the Night for the umpteenth time without doing any sort of like, like remake or anything like that, without painting
To
over
your
it at
Apple
all.
Watch.
It's like literally running at like fucking 720p, 60 FPS. It looks terrible. And it's like a game from fucking 97, and it's like it's shrunk down so it's in 4:3. It's like, god damn it, just put any effort into anything.
Take-Two Interactive could mean a handful of things.
Well, Rockstar notoriously is never at E3. The last time I could remember them at E3 was
GTA 4.
2014. They came out on PlayStation stage, 2014 they came out on PlayStation stage and announced that they were porting GTA 5 to the next gen consoles with like a glamour, and like that was it. Like they put out a trailer and that was it. They never have any
I guarantee that's all what they're gonna be, is they're gonna be like our GTA 5 remakes for the PC, PS5, and Xbox are gonna be crazy.
I don't think they're gonna do that just because so they were at Sony's conference in the fall announcing the PS5. So if they were to just announce like the port, I would imagine either one, they would do it at one of Sony's shows, or two, they're Rockstar, they're big enough, they would just do it on their own. They would just drop that. They would just drop it on their own, like they do with everything else.
And then it's Manhunt 3. Let's go.
I want Bully. I want Bully where you are the new kid at school and you are the bully to the bullies.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Which is basically the first game, but still.
I remember when
emphasize
the first game
bullying
came
the
out,
bullies.
dude.
Yeah, no, Bully's great. But so yeah, E3 is coming back June 12th through the 15th. Jay, are we going to live react to it?
Probably. I do every year over on my channel. And I heard that affiliates are getting co-stream.
Are getting what?
Split, like, you know how partners are able to, like...
We could do that?
I think there was talks that affiliates might get to do it.
Bruh.
I don't know, I'm not gonna lie, I usually get into beta of these things.
Oh.
So I'm waiting.
I finally, because some of you may not know, my channel is the little sister channel of Punk with a Camera, youtube.com/punkwithacamera. Go show my boy Brandon some love. We are like the little sister channel of them, so we're affiliated. So I hope I finally got access to all of, like, he handed me over the Google, the Gmail, and the Twitch logins, and I transferred everything over to my information, so I've been checking that shit all day, or once a day, so hopefully, when that happens, I'll get some sort of invite as well. But story number 3 is, before we start this trailer, a little background. So before we start this trailer, a little background. I'm gonna pull up this article before I jump into story number 3. This is over by GamesBeat because I gotta process what I'm about to say, because this is another thing where I got a lot to say. This is over at VentureBeat. This is by the one and only Jeff Grubb. I personally love Jeff Grubb because he is a fucking blabbermouth. The dude is talkative. He does not know when to stop. He will hear something and he will make an article about it. For instance, Kojima Productions is making a new game, but it is not abandoned for PlayStation 5. Earlier today, Sony Interactive Entertainment revealed a trailer for Abandoned, which is a horror project from developer Blue Box Games. But that trailer and the developer's spotty history are just odd enough to cause some people to speculate that Abandoned is secretly the next game from Metal Gear Solid creator Hideo Kojima. This is not the case. One reason people believe Abandoned is from Kojima is because it's difficult to find a lot of information about Blue Box Games, but that isn't because it is a shell corporation for Kojima Productions. Instead, Blue Box is simply a small studio that has never released a major console game before. Blue Box website is dead. It has a That's just a funny sentence. Blue Box website is dead. It has a game in early access on Steam, and it has stopped updating, and it has yet another similar game that it attempted to launch on Steam's now defunct Greenlight program. I get it, though. Maybe Kojima was playing the long con, and he was the one behind the studio all along. He was simply waiting for the moment to strike, and that time has come. But the biggest piece of evidence I have that Abandoned is this whole paragraph is what you take note of. The biggest piece of evidence I have that Abandoned is not a Kojima joint is that Kojima is in talks with Microsoft about publishing his next game. According to a source familiar with the matter. And yes, that statue on Phil Spencer's shelf was referring to a potential deal with the legendary developer. I cannot confirm if Xbox closed the deal yet, but my understanding is that Kojima is the focus of a Microsoft plan to tap into Japanese talent. So you'll have to enjoy Abandoned absent Kojima's market. One thing I'm noticing literally right now, because I've read this article a couple times, but my understanding is that Kojima is the focus of a Microsoft plan to tap. Okay, he edited this article because one issue in my notes that I have is that he said, and I quote, but my understanding is that Kojima is the focus of a Microsoft plan to leverage Japanese talent. And when I read that, I was personally kind of like pissed off in the sense of like, what do you think do you think people are like, oh, Kojima, yes, sir. Yes, we will follow you, sir. Wherever you go, we go. Like, no, developers are going to go where they want to develop games. It's like, if they want to develop games for Hideo Kojima, then they could go and work at his studio. But you're not going to all of a sudden get fucking Atlas from Sega to come and make a game for you just because Hideo Kojima's making a game for you. Like, that honestly, like, if that's true, that pissed me off. And I'm happy that he changed it to tap, because I don't know if that was his wording or their wording. But just another thing to add into this, I was listening to a podcast yesterday. Shout out to Kind of Funny Games Daily. And when they were talking about this, Jeff Grubb was in the Twitch chat, and he said he put a little update in there where it's now down to the lawyers. It's at the point to where the lawyers are talking about it. So that means this is pretty much confirmed, and I'll tell you right now, this is confirmed. This is happening. I sat on this. When did this come out? April 7th. So this came out 2 days ago. So I sat on this for 48 hours, and you could see the Luden statue in the background from Death Stranding right there. I can confirm that. I don't even have any sources, and I can confirm to you that this is true. It just makes sense. He probably got offered an absurd amount of money. My only issue, and just full frontal nudity. Hideo Kojima is the reason why I am a PlayStation guy. I got a PlayStation 3 because of Metal Gear Solid 4, and then once I found out that I could download and play PS1 and PS2 games. I fucking played all those games that I missed, and that's what made me fall in love with PlayStation. Hideo Kojima, the first sitting next to my big brother, watching him play Metal Gear Solid, acting out Metal Gear Solid with my brothers and our neighbor while he was babysitting us, just brah, brah, brah. Mm-hmm. Metal Gear Solid is a massive thing in my life, and so is Hideo Kojima. So no matter where he puts a game, I'm going to play it. I'll play it on my fucking PC. It's not a big deal. But
Imagine
he is
what it
so
would look like on the PC.
he is so synonymous with PlayStation that for me that alone will just feel weird. Playing his game not on a PlayStation, not holding a PlayStation controller, not popping trophies, that'll all feel very off to me. And then before I even say what I'm about to say, I just want to say he doesn't owe anything to Sony. I don't think you owe anything to a corporation. But when he had his falling out with Konami and he was struggling to find studio space and he had an idea for a very, very niche game called Death Stranding, Sony funded him. They helped him find studio space. They helped fund his game. They funded his game. They did. If you played Death Stranding all the way through, Sony did not interfere at all with his vision on what that game should be. But, like I said, it is a very, very niche game. It is, when you break it down, it is a hiking simulator. And that is it. You essentially play a UPS man in Iceland. That's the game. There's a little more to it, but the mass majority of the game is delivering packages in an Icelandic style setting. That's it. So I personally will be upset if after Sony not only funds his game, helps him find a studio, but gives him an engine. They learned Decima inside and out. The Decima engine, which was made by Guerrilla Games for Killzone and Horizon, the Horizon series. So they're just gonna be like, nah, peace, and then go and make a game for Xbox. My assumption and hope is that they're publicly out there. They're not owned by anyone. So my hope is that they just do a cross-platform game. It's just a game for all, like Metal Gear Solid 5 was, and how he wanted Metal Gear Solid 4 to be. I'm fine with that. I don't need him to be exclusive. I personally just want to play Hideo Kojima games on my PlayStation, because that's where I've been playing them since I was fucking 5 years old, goddammit. Jay, I know you're not really too much into the Japanese gaming space, but I mean, Metal Gear Solid, that's got to tick a bell for you. That's got to mean something.
I've never played any of them.
You're killing me.
You're
fucking
the first
killing
two.
me.
And the second one came on 2-disc set.
Oh,
I had that and Gran Turismo on a 2-disc set. Never
Metal Gear
played.
Solid 2 is top 3 favorite games of all time.
The closest I got to playing that game is playing as Solid Snake on Smash.
It's sitting right there on my shelf. It is my favorite cover art of any video game of all time. Metal Gear Solid 2, not Guns of the Patriots. Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. Guns of the Patriots is the fourth one.
That's the silver looking.
Yeah, he's liquid metal, and he's just solid metal actually, and and the red and white background. But going back to the Abandoned trailer just real quick, because it's only 1 minute and 39 seconds. Honestly, I didn't know people thought this was a Kojima game until I saw that article where they confirmed it wasn't a Kojima game, because I was straight up like, you guys thought this was a fucking Kojima game? Don't get me wrong, visually it looks really good, but look at the frames, dude. This shit is running at 20 FPS. It is 1 minute and 40 seconds just about. It is just narrated. There is no gameplay of any note or anything. Look at that. Look at how choppy that is. That is not the stream. That is the fucking trailer's choppiness. It blows my fucking mind that people thought that this was Kojima. Because, first of all, this is
It looks like an indie, just run-of-the-mill,
the synopsis.
Outlast.
The synopsis, yeah, I mean, that's the synopsis is you wake up and you're in this fucking cult's village in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere. Look at how choppy that fucking dude. The last time Hideo released a trailer this short was the Silent Hills teaser trailer that you got at the end of beating PT.
I remember beating PT 10 times.
Dude, I still played PT every Halloween. Look at that. Look, gah! So, like, honestly, I felt insulted that people thought that was Kojima. And honestly, I feel bad for the devs, the Blue Box guys. Because they were probably excited. They were probably so hyped. We're going on PlayStation's channel. 13 million subscribers. Shit, this video's already got 640,000 fucking views. I bet that's more attention than they've ever gotten. And immediately everyone's just like, oh, this is someone else's game. This studio isn't real. These guys are fake.
Yeah.
Like, I bet they were like, we just wanted to celebrate announcing our game, and no one believed us it was even real. But double-edged sword, this game, I would have never even talked about this game on stream if that news didn't break.
Yeah.
If that article didn't come from this trailer, then I wouldn't have put this trailer in the news. I wouldn't have played this for, 6 people.
Right.
So, I feel like it's insulting to not only Kojima to think that this was his game, but it's insulting to the developers of the game itself to not even given them the time of day. So those are the 3 big stories. Actually, no, we got one more. Story number 4. This one isn't really big. I just got a couple things I got to throw down there. Continue blocking ads. What do we got here? The mighty random word. What up? Punk with a Controller live? Damn. Hiya, friends. Oh, yeah, no. Punk with a Controller live. We've been going live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at twitch.tv/punk with a controller. It's usually in the evenings. Fridays, I'm joined by Jay Hamilton, a.k.a. twitch.tv/LordXHam, where we're covering gaming news and just discussing what we've been playing and what we've been watching throughout the week. And it's been a great time. If you're new, go to Punk with a Controller, or go to youtube.com/Punk with a Controller. And we already have the first 2 episodes of this uploaded, so you could go and watch them at your leisure. There are timestamps, so you can peep those if there are any topics germane to what you want to hear about. And if you hit the notification bell, you will know exactly when we're going live, so you don't have to know, you don't have to follow my bullshit, because I post on Instagram exactly when we're going live. We don't have set times. Usually it's 7 p.m. on Fridays, but D&D scheduling pushed us to 5 p.m. on Friday. Back to the story. This is by Push Square. This is over from Sammy Barker. PS Now's new games are PS4 only. Sony confirms no PS5 upgrade path. I'm not even going to read the article. I'm just going to spew my shit. Jay, I spewed about it earlier when we were fucking test streaming.
Cut him off.
Why? Like, why not do a PS... I would have gotten PS Now if these games were PS5 patched. Talk about having one good headline in this whole week of shit for PlayStation. One good headline being like, hey, we're integrating PS5 into the PS Now service. We're introducing that with Borderlands 3 and Avengers. More to come soon. Whatever the fuck. Instead I'm not gonna fucking do this. Avengers sucks on PS4. It sucks on PS5. It sucks on PC.
Thing. Games of Destiny reskin.
Borderlands.
Borderlands 3 was, in my opinion, poop too.
Dude, okay, I fucking loved Borderlands
1 and 2 and the pre-sequel.
I didn't like the pre-sequel. Just the mechanics. I didn't like the constant hover jump. But when I wanted to just jump up like a ledge, I had to wait 5 seconds. But my issue with Borderlands 3 is like I have a really, I don't know if it was maybe new writers or the fact that I was like, I don't know, 13 or 14 when the Borderlands series was in its prime. So like I was really childish. So like, a yeet gun would have made me laugh if I was 13 or 14 in 2019.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that game is the definition of cringe.
Yeah,
What do you? Yeah, I've been spewing. So why don't you rant for a minute if you got anything to say?
Well, I mean, what do you want me to rant about? How much Borderlands 3 was a letdown, or how?
Oh,
this
just
is
go off.
How this is just a waste of time. Well, my Borderlands 3 opinion is that it was just a big overhyped flop of the same thing. Like, I literally was like expecting something new with like a good story, but the whole time it just felt like a rehash, like shoving it back in your face kind of deal.
For sure.
Like I don't know. I just got like, I remember I played Borderlands 3 for a couple of days. I'm like, all right, this is it. This game blows. I don't even care if I have 3 other people I'm playing with. I don't like it. It's like,
personally, I wish it was rehashed because I remember the old Borderlands. Every 2 seconds, I was picking up a new gun that was fucking dope. I had like these same like guns I had from like a certain point, and I had no reason to get. Every gun I picked up was just boring and just nothing new. And that's like what Borderlands created the looter shooter.
Right.
Don't forget that. Like, if you look at like, I remember when Destiny first came out, I was like, this is just fucking like, even the HUD is just Borderlands.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember when the first one came out, we were like, shitting, just like, oh my god.
The first Borderlands was like a fucking revolution, dude. It was violent. That cell shading. There was literally like 2 million guns. I remember them promoting that all over the fucking trailers. And there was. Like, that's what was blowing my mind. I was like, there are like 2 million guns in this game. That's the game that, like, honestly really got me into Western RPGs. Like, you know, like I played. Yeah, no, like don't get me wrong.
I played Fallout 3.
I was about to say, don't like I played Fallout 3 in Oblivion prior, but like I never got invested in them. Like I played them up to a certain point and was like, whatever. But I did go back to them and beat them both. But Borderlands was my jam, and 3 was, well, also Randy
paced well.
Randy Pitchford really, really, really leaves a bad taste in my mouth. He's a scummy dick, and I don't like him. Like, literally, just look up a picture of the guy, and he looks fucking creepy. I don't like Randy Pitchford, and I honestly didn't want to buy Borderlands, but I was like, fuck, I love Borderlands. And, did not love Borderlands. So, where does that put us at? That puts us at story number 5.
Oh, and the Avengers is in here too. The Avengers is like trash shit.
Yeah, no, I mean that one is well known. That one's established.
I'd rather go back and play like Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions than play that with Neil Patrick Harris.
That's a bad game.
It's a bad game, but I'd rather play that.
Fucking Spider-Man Shattered. I remember. Just a little side note before we go on to the next story. I remember I was so excited for that game because I thought that each of the worlds was going to be open world.
No.
So I was like so excited to swing through like 1930s New York in black and white as the new art Spider-Man. But no, you were just playing Batman Arkham.
It just felt like you were playing, like the whole time. I'm like, I feel like I'm playing Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro on the PS1.
Neil Patrick Harris was dope.
He was a very good Spider-Man. I mean, he's one of my favorite actors in general. How I Met Your Mother is one of my favorite shows of all time. But like,
show's creepy.
Now it hasn't aged well at all.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the sitcoms haven't aged well. No. But yeah, let's get on to story number 5 and just start clearing through these. This is just a tweet on Deathloop. This is by the Arcane Dev. Oh, they actually put out a video here.
Dingabakaba, and I'm game.
Let me just go ahead and pause the music.
Hello everyone, I'm Dingabakaba, and I'm game director on Deathloop at Arcane Lyon.
And I'm Sébastien Mitton, art director for Deathloop.
We've made the very hard decision to delay the launch of Deathloop to September 14, 2021. At Arcane, we have a strong vision for Deathloop,
No,
don't want to
I
compromise on
can
that.
vaguely get it through your
But
speakers.
we also need.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I'll just read the post that they put out. But that's gonna have to figure that one out. This is by the developers over at Arcane on Deathloop. We've made the decision to delay the launch of Deathloop to September 14th, 2021. We're committed to quality and preserving our team's ambitions for Deathloop while ensuring the health and safety of everyone at Arcane. We'll be using this extra time to accomplish our goal, create fun, stylish, and mind-bending player experience. We apologize for the extended wait and thank you all for your passion and excitement. It is the fuel that powers our creativity and our hard work. We can't wait to show you more Deathloop soon. This game is super interesting and looks fucking awesome. Have you heard about this game? Have you seen this one?
I haven't really looked into it since it was announced at
It's
E3.
It's basically
or Game Awards, whatever. It is.
Yeah, let me just pull up like a trailer of it real quick that I could put on loop, no pun intended. But it's basically like the gist that I get from it is it's like Hitman combined with like a Doom or something.
It's like Hitman, Doom,
like you have,
super hot, Dishonored.
You have targets that you got to assassinate, and it's like up to you on how you take them out. And if you want to go like fast paced, it is totally like a Doom style game.
Didn't this get announced with like ZeniMax?
Well, no, this is a Bethesda game that's exclusive for PlayStation.
Okay, so then it straight up is Dishonored with the twist.
Oh yeah, no, it's made by the people who made Dishonored.
It's like almost the same thing, but with
I'm hoping that this is the game. I'm hoping that this is the game that like puts them on the map, just because Dishonored is such an underrated series.
It is
that,
underrated.
Like,
I'm also waiting for that Indiana Jones game. I want a little more info on that.
Yeah, that one's gonna be a minute. I'm more so excited for the 007 game by IO.
Oh yeah, for sure. After playing Hitman 3, you can definitely see where they're going.
But yeah, no, this shit, I'm super fucking excited for this. Dave Fennoy is the voice actor, and he is amazing. He was, what's his name? Fuck, it's slipping my head. He was the main character in the Walking Dead Telltale series. So fucking good. Like an extremely talented voice actor. He was in Clone Wars too. The animated series. I can't remember who he played. I can't remember who he plays. But yeah, this game got delayed to September, unfortunately. I feel like that's going to affect with Ghostwire Tokyo, the other Bethesda-owned PlayStation exclusive. It's so weird. This generation is becoming completely fucking absurd. But yeah, I mean, my whole thing is, if you got to delay your game. We just talked about Days Gone, how they could use 3 more months at least. So if you're gonna make a game good, go ahead and take all the time you need.
Yeah, don't be a CD Projekt Red.
Well, what's the Miyamoto quote? A good game or was it a bad game could be? Or, I can't remember what it is. I'm slipping my mind. It's like it ends with a broken game is bad forever. And that's a quote I do know is they delayed the original Last of Us by a month initially, from July to August, and when the game came out, it got 10s across the board. Everyone praised the fucking game, and Neil Druckmann in the interviews was saying that month delay was the difference between it being a good game and the masterpiece that everyone called it. So yeah, take all the time you ever need. I will never be.
Gives me Rage vibes. That scares me.
No, I do. I get Dishonored vibes entirely, from character design to actual gameplay itself.
It's like
Rage was a lot more kinetic than this looks. Honestly, this looks like a Bethesda game, unfortunately, but hopefully it plays good.
I mean, come on, like I think Bethesda just is stained from '76, and other than that, with like a lackluster Fallout 4, they haven't done. I mean, I know they keep re-releasing Skyrim, but I mean, let's be honest, Skyrim won a generation award. Like,
I don't know. Skyrim. I'm honestly so fucking sick of even that word.
I have it tattooed on my body, so
That's
I can't
commitment.
get sick of it.
All right. So what do we got now? It was story number 6. Oh yeah, this is kind of just a side note that I wanted to put out there. Last week when we were talking about the games we were playing, I mentioned that I was playing Homefront the Revolution, which I never got back into, but Timesplitters 2 4K port was hidden inside the Homefront the Revolution, but the unlock code is lost. I'm not even gonna read the article. I just think that that's really fucking funny and sad at the same time, because everyone has been begging for a Timesplitters port or remake, and nah, it ain't happening unless they completely fucking remake that. And then story number 7. It just got labeled too late. Come on. I don't want your ads. So Marvel opens MCU Madripoor website, quickly scrubs X-Men references. This is on IGN over by Joe Screbbles. He has been the 3 articles I've pulled up by IGN so far, so congrats to Joe. Marvel has opened an in-universe tourism website for Madripoor. I'm saying that how I'm saying it. Which fans quickly noticed contained a number of Easter eggs referencing X-Men characters. Those references have seemingly now been removed. Comic Book, which I am surprised they are citing Comic Book, spotted the new Explore Madripoor website, which began appearing as a banner adverts on other Marvel sites. Fans subsequently discovered that the areas of that site could be unlocked using passwords, including one area that listed ships in Madripoor's Buccaneer Bay docks, which we saw in episode 3 of The Falcon and Winter Soldier. When the site launched, those listings include ship names, some of which were direct references to characters of the X-Men, including Mystique and Daken, Wolverine's son in the X-Men or in the Marvel comics, and Mystique, who appeared in Fox's X-Men movies. Shang-Chi, who has his own film coming soon, in the sentient island of Kuroka, which I think is fucking awesome. Were also apparently mentioned. So I'm just going to stop right there because they just go into how they were scrubbed from the website and blah, blah, blah. This just confirms that I feel like those are going to be the first 2 big X-Men introductions. How do you feel about that? I know you're big into. Are you big into the X-Men? I know you read comics. I don't know how big you are into the X-Men though.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I haven't seen any I just can't get into all this new Marvel stuff.
Well, no, I mean read comics wise.
Wolverine, yeah.
Okay. Are you familiar with Daken's story at all?
No.
Okay. It's a sad story. And if they're bringing him in, it's gonna get dark. But no, X-Men is my favorite Marvel property outside of Daredevil. So I really just can't. I've honestly been waiting so long for that to come, and I can't fucking wait. I can't wait to see how they tackle everything. I talked last week about Falcon and Winter Soldier, how they've been tackling with race in America, and is America ready for a black Captain America, which is such an insane topic for I feel the MCU to be tackling. But I feel like them doing that is in basically just them tiptoeing into what they can do with the X-Men, which I'm so excited about. And our last story, I thought was news. You've apparently been looking at it for a month now, you said, is this game called The Day Before. For a while, this is just the radio. Right. They're just talking about the story, but I mean, they say it's an MMO. I personally love MMOs.
Are you ready?
And this is this looks high quality. This looks dope.
All right, here. Pause it for a second.
They get stuck in the mud here in a second.
All right. The first thing, have you played Mud Runner or Snow Runner?
No.
All right, these driving mechanics are ripped directly from that game.
All right, that's
Mud
fine.
Runner but yeah, that's cool. But the first trailer, the first gameplay trailer they released of this game,
Yeah, because this is all I've seen.
100% Division E3 trailer vibes. Completely scripted, completely even the voice acting.
I do remember that. I actually did see that. And then he finds this dude like dead, like in like the apartment building, and like he's getting like eaten by like a bunch of zombies. Yeah, no, that was sick though. You don't. I mean, like I get what you mean by
this. What now? I watched this prior to because these are like my style of games, survival games.
Yeah.
Like once he gets out of the truck, you just can't tell me that you don't feel like this is the Division.
But is that a problem? Because my problem with the Division is that it wasn't what I wanted from that setting. Like if yeah, they're in like the fucking woods right now. If you could drive into like fucking the center of Portland and then just start looting whatever you wanted like they were doing in that first initial trailer, and like you could set up your own fucking camp and it runs and looks as good in the quality of Division, that's fucking awesome.
Right, but
like isn't this what you want from like a zombie post-apocalypse game?
It is, but like I have to stay cautious because of how smooth it looks.
Well, yeah, no, 100%. Like
this it just reminds me of it could be like that Vigor game, that shit game.
It could be like State of Decay or what was it? What's that one horrible game? With like Ark. The people who did Ark, they put out another game fairly recently. And it's like it's way
Atlas.
Bigger than Ark. Yeah, Atlas. In the announcement trailer for Atlas, I'm like, if you're trying to convince me this game is going to run and look like this, you're out of your fucking mind. Because I have seen Ark. I know Ark. And if you guys are basically dropping Ark to go and do this, it's going to look like shit.
How disgusting that is with the zombies, though. Like, I don't like bullet spongy stuff like that. And it kind of gives me, like, either the guy doing the gameplay demo sucks, or
I was about to say,
aiming is really weighted.
I was about to say it was bullet spongy because he's shooting him in the. Well, actually, no, that shot he shot him in the head like fucking 4 times before he actually dropped. But those first two guys, he shot him in the head and they dropped right away.
See, like the pistol work.
But I have the sound. I have the sound turned off. He's like breathing heavily right now and like out of breath and shit. So I have a feeling they're gonna have that sway brought in.
The pistol gameplay looks like
The Last of Us, straight up.
You know how in The Last of Us,
down to the reticle.
Like when you have a pistol in The Last of Us, you feel every shot. Like that's one thing that I did like about that game was like when I shot with the pistol, because ammo's so limited, I felt every shot I took with the pistol.
Keep in mind though that this is an MMO, so like they could be like in a little bit of a higher level area than they are. Or they're like, these zombies are little.
But see, that's the thing though, is that like higher level MMO or not, there shouldn't be any higher level area. If it's an MMO, massively multiplayer, I feel, and they're going for this, it should be more like
not
DayZ.
higher level area, but they'll have higher level enemies. Because that's what an MMO.
You're gonna have to take this over. I've gotten a phone call from my grandfather like 4 times in a row.
Okay, yeah, no, go for it.
I gotta take it. I'll be right back.
Yeah, do your thing. I really hope everything is okay. But yeah, no, I've played a lot of MMOs. I've put a lot of time recently into Final Fantasy 14, and they do a lot of placement with enemies where like a certain you'll be running through an area, and the areas are kind of broken up with low level enemies. Outside of Umdaw in Final Fantasy 14, there's like level 2 snakes, and then once you go deeper into the woods, you good?
Yeah.
Everything cool? Okay.
Yeah. There's a part in this trailer though that kind of like, because they haven't really shown the MMO aspect, but they kind of show it in like a super scripted segment.
But yeah, no, like I was saying, MMOs, they do have like areas like the further you go in, the harder the enemies do get. So like, when you like the enemies, right, the zombies outside of your camp, they'll be low level zombies. But like, yeah, once you like go exploring way out farther than you normally have gone before, then yeah, you're gonna be coming across some higher level, higher tier enemies, and like WoW and Final Fantasy specifically, like you'll be walking and then there'll just be a bam level 50 just right there, like you're level, I don't know, you're level fucking 8 or 9. You just walked outside of the village and boom, there just happens to be a level 50 enemy sitting right there. It's like, well, I'm getting the fuck away from that thing.
But like with a game like this, what are they gonna focus on? PvE or PvP? You know, like
I hope there's, I mean, I would imagine that there's going to be servers for both. I personally hope that there's an option for me to just do PvE. I got my eye on it. Like you said, you'll, in quotes, wait and see.
Like we'll see.
Wait, what do you mean?
Quote, like I'm pretty sure at the beginning of this video, or at another gameplay video, like it's like 2 twin brothers that are making it, like 3 people making this game, something like that, like a super small studio.
Really?
Yeah, you'll like afterwards, skip forward in this video though to when they get in this house. There's a really cool mechanic that I really like that not a lot of other games have done.
I'm gonna pull that up on my phone just because I'm curious.
So they get into this house that they're walking up to, and they trip the security system in the house, and they have 30 seconds to turn it off. It seems like, but the way it gives you see, and look at that, I got vaccinated, so you can tell that the story of the game is like I Am Legend. So that means I'm gonna turn into a zombie, dude. But it looks good, almost too good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. But I mean,
it's AAA quality, almost. I'm trying to look for assets. I couldn't even tell you what engine this is made in. Probably in-house, their own thing. But it seems so similar to Ubisoft. But hey, what if these guys go with Zipper Interactive? You can make a SOCOM game.
Zipper's been closed for.
I don't care. It only could
Zipper's been closed for 10 years. Yeah, no, I'm just trying to figure. I'm not seeing specifically any articles or anything. I'm even on their website, and it's not saying how many people are on their team. They're based out of Russia, though. But I don't know.
Watch this shit.
Could be very talented.
Right here. Now you see the most used keys on that thing. So you gotta decipher, is it 1, 4, 3, 8? And they fucked up.
That is really fucking cool. Oh, and then it's like Nazi zombies then.
Somewhat, and then there's you can tell how they're gonna slowly introduce the open world gameplay in a second. This is where I know this dude can't play video games.
Jesus, dude. Pick your shots. You got 3 rounds left. What are you... Yeah, now I know what you're saying.
This is on the PC.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's pressing F to interact with things. I like how he holds the gun. The animation's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, this part's super interesting. Makes me want to learn more.
I don't know why it's not on 1080p. I have it set to 1080p, but it's coming at me at fucking 480. Those more online people?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember they got like...
They tripped that alarm, so there must have... I'm thinking there could be people, like, they got a base
nearby
at the
that
police
heard.
station.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah, for sure. Actually,
They
that's
have a
fucking...
police car.
That's fucking dope.
But that police car is, like, covered in fucking barbed wire and shit, so you can tell it's been yanked.
This is pretty damn scripted, too.
Yeah, I know, like...
I mean, it's.
Oh,
I
like,
don't
I
have
wish
anything wrong with that. It just they want to make the game that's online look good. I'm sure they know no one in the world plays fucking games like this, unless it's like Arma or some shit.
This is why people love GTA RP. Because there's rules, you know. Like, you see how those guys rolled up to the house and like, we're just gonna walk up to the front door.
Yeah, we
slowly.
totally
They'd be
didn't
like,
see them running off to the side as if we're AI.
Right.
Oh, you find like a bomb shelter or some shit? That's fucking dope. But yeah, that was cool. I think that's going to be the end of this one, Jay.
Y'all?
A lot of Sony news. I went on a lot longer than I thought I would. But that was a good episode. It was a good episode. We'll be back next Friday. Twitch.tv/punkwithacontroller. Jay Hamilton. You can find him at twitch.tv/LordXHam. Go and follow and subscribe to him. And follow.
Yeah, I'm
and
on TikTok now, by the way.
TikTok. Do they have? Are they a .com?
I don't know. Lord X Ham on TikTok. I've been watching guitar videos.
There you go. If you missed this, will be live, or I'll post it Sunday afternoon, sometime then. There's also the other 2 episodes there, so go and like and watch those. Hit the notification bell, and please follow and subscribe on all channels. We'll talk to you guys soon. We hope you have a nice weekend and all that jibber jabber. Peace.